here in the studio with us have the members of Rob Zombie tribute band, the Body Snatchers.
Hello!
We have Kelly Betts and Tim Burgess. You're promoting your first release, your debut. It's, as far as I know, it's 5 tracks long. Is that right?
Full length.
Full length.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay.
And nobody knows about it.
Nobody knows
This,
about it.
right now, this very sentence is the debut of the information that there even is an album. And it's not only a feature-length album, but we have 5 music videos already shot.
I told my mom.
Oh, man. Media blackout.
Is that why we had to kill her?
Media blackout is broken. The witnesses have been handled. Well, very cool. What is the Body Snatch, or what do the Body Snatchers sound like?
The gimmicky idea was to take sounds from Rob Zombie songs and White Zombie songs and only use those sounds to make rap beats for us to rap over.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But rap is a loose term here because it's 2018. So I'll just say it. We're screaming. We're screaming. But we're rap nerds, so it's like multis. It's like sick multis that are about zombies mostly. Zombies and werewolves and classic horror tropes screamed over Rob Zombie that I made into rap beats.
Yeah, it's like rap metal almost.
Yeah.
But not like 90s rap metal.
I was gonna say,
I don't know.
We're the return of new metal. Is what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up at some point during this segment, simply because I feel like there's like a very common perception of the genre. But yeah, no, new metal is as long as it's not new metal, you guys are pretty safe.
I'm not afraid of new metal. See, we're already going there. I think 2018 is the time when genres are dying and the walls are being knocked down and there's no rules. And the most hardcore guys are making pop music and pop stars are making punk music. And so, what better time to just come out and say, I don't care if it's dated. We're doing it because it's.
I play new metal and I'm proud.
It kind of fits with the set piece, because like you're reanimating a dead genre.
That's what we thought of.
Yeah. Excellent.
That's our idea.
Right,
I
get it.
Yeah. But like Tim and I, Bone Man and I, live in this weird world where we're driving to battle guys and scream rap in their face, and then on the way up we always play Slipknot and maybe some Korn.
Sure.
And Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie was the go-to.
Oh, Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
maybe.
Marilyn Manson.
Sure. Yeah.
And we're just kind of shameless, man. No guilty pleasures. So
No guilty pleasures.
we're
All
letting
pleasures.
we're letting it all hang out.
Fair enough. It does sound like you guys are having a very good time on the 2 tracks that I listened to earlier today. What was I gonna say? Shelby, do you have any questions for our dear guests?
So, explain the name to our listeners.
Because I know that it's a film.
It's not,
but
right, and it's not exactly like an obvious conclusion.
Oh yeah,
go.
I got a super esoteric explanation.
Yeah,
here we go.
Oh, I'm burping. Welcome to the radio. All right, so we're called Body Snatchers because it's a tribute to Rob Zombie. And so when you snatch a body, you rob zombies. Rob Zombies, Body Snatchers.
I see. Now that makes a lot of sense now that you have explained it explicitly for me.
The Body Snatchers robbing cadavers.
Yeah. It's like the one thing we thought through. Honestly, this whole album was like, let's just not think, let's just do it. I mean, how many times did I say, like, let's just go for it? And so this was fun because we both are so used to being so careful with our pen. And like, how is this going to work? And it kind of was like, what if we just let it all hang out? Because that's how we became friends. Was I showed him a hobo with a shotgun and he puked in a trash can, and I said, "You're my bestie now," because the guy was chewing glass.
Oh yeah, that was a rough
it.
scene.
Yeah, he vommed. But
jeez.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm just not about like, I just think people value authenticity, and sometimes authenticity looks different than you think it's going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was going to say, at least in my own experience with making music with others, oftentimes that's the only solution to any kind of like creative frustration or slump is just let's just, instead of overthinking this, let's just play. Let's just see what happens. So that's very cool. You guys got an entire album length bit of material out of this. So I did notice in the tags for your MP3s that you recorded this at North Village. You guys put a lot of like real world effort and money into this.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours it was, but
a lot. Like, what do you think, 20?
Sure.
20 hours in the studio. And
wow.
This is the first time. The irony is this is the most playful, like, screw it album I've ever made. This is the most, like, whatever album I've ever made. Having fun. At the same time, we wanted it to sound clean because we know it might reach a smaller audience just because less people make horrorcore rap. So just based on that it's more of a niche market, hey, if we did it right, people might listen.
And it does sound very clean.
Thank
Very
you.
clean.
I love, so Tim Hansen, I call him Heezer, because that was his name back in the day. He's on fire! So Heezer at North Village Recording, he does more like rap on the pop end of things. But we went to him, he knows me, he did the Radiohead thing, so when I started screaming into the mic, he's just like, that's Kelly, there goes Kelly again, you know, and he knows Bone Man from around, and so it just went really, I think it went really smooth. But this is definitely my first album that is like every piece of it plays like a real album. There's an intro, there's an interlude. Every song is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, and like has all these pieces. So
it's interesting that you called this process just going for it and having fun, and yet it's still kind of structured. There's still a lot of thought put into the way the songs sound, how they flow.
I just geeked out. And I was trying to impress him, basically, because he's so laid back. You can hear how laid back he is. He's so laid back. He's just like, cool. I work on something for 5 hours. He'd be like, it's pretty good. I mean, screw you, man. But that's what you need around you when you're an artist, is somebody that's going to be like, it's all right. And so I'd go back, and so all the beats. This has been going on secretly, and this has been going on in secret for 2 years.
Yeah, that's when we began talking about it, and. Yeah, and it's just been a thought for a long time.
For 2 years.
And I've been sending him stuff, and he sends it back and says it's not good enough. And so it was supposed to come out last October. And so now it finally is happening.
Interesting.
Because it was good enough for him.
Come on.
Man, you guys did a good job.
So you were rapping already at the time. When did NoCo start? Your involvement with the NoCo
Summer of 2009, and I'm considered the founder, although obviously that kind of thing.
I was going to say, your involvement began isn't the
best
way to describe that.
It's a whole scene. Yeah, it's a whole scene. That kind of came out of, like, there was the serious hip-hop night that was Mad Real Mondays, which was, like, Steady P and all those guys and Indie Ground, but they're doing this, like, serious, like, you gotta freestyle and you gotta, whatever, prove yourself, right?
Yeah.
Mom Spaghetti. And then you have the as yet unnamed comedy show at Eastside, which is this goth bar, so it's like alternative comedy, and they had people that would do sets as the Chair. And they would hide behind the chair and be like, all these comedians sit on me. And like one guy had a skit, he had like an iceberg costume, and it was a recurring character that if you were bad, the iceberg would slowly move on stage, and they'd be like, the iceberg! Like, I mean, it was weird. And essentially, basically, there was this like, I'm the white rapper guy that was, to me, already played out a decade ago, literally, and I hated him, and he always did the same 2 nerd rap songs, and I won't say who it was, but I went to the organizer and I was like, I have to let me battle this guy. And so Dan Friesen, who went on to have a successful podcast and is a fairly successful internet comedian, anyway, he was organizing, and he is very clever, and he said, if you want to battle him, you have to battle the other guys that rap. Basically,
you gotta run the gamut.
Yeah, you gotta earn your spot. Yeah, so those 2 worlds kind of collided, and I just was like, let's all meet in the park and settle this. And YouTube was really new, and so we're one of the first battle leagues ever. We're one of the first 5 battle leagues to ever exist. which means battles specifically written for each other for the internet.
Yeah.
So if you define it within this very limited way, we're very important. If it's
still,
niche within a niche.
As a platform, that's still. I mean, it's still. I feel unique today. Like how many of those kinds of those leagues exist?
Now it's in every city, and I'm
Really?
not exaggerating.
There's
Most cities
all
have
over the planet.
2 or 3.
Wow.
Philippines, Russia, it's huge.
Australia.
The most successful leagues aren't even in America. It's in Asia and Europe, like Eastern Europe.
Wow.
It's spread like wildfire. So in 2010, meeting Bone Man, it had gone from nothing to, oh my God, Canadians are doing it, and just it was just growing and growing and growing. It's just this crazy thing, and now it's definitely capped off at an amazing place where, in my opinion, lyrical hip hop. Just the music. Everybody talks about there's rap these days. Well, where that went is battling. All the smart guys that really want to talk to you and say something or have a really crazy pen, they're all battling, and it's bigger than ever. So anybody that comes to me on some like rap elite, whatever prestige, like, oh, nobody spits the not like, and I'm like, you couldn't be more wrong. Like, I'm sorry, no. So
You're just not part of the zeitgeist, my guy.
yeah, battle me. And so like, anyway, I guess No Coast now kind of outgrew Columbia. I hate to say that, but we had these names coming in. We're on the internet. In this world, it's the best ever. He's the 2-time world champion, and people are complaining about spending 10 at the door. And I'm like, in New York, it's 100. It's
Right.
like it's
Yeah.
this. If you're in LA, it's $100, and you're complaining about 10. It just didn't fiscally make sense when we were flying people out from all over the country.
You were flying them out.
We still are, yeah. We
Wow.
started that very early, and so as the thing kind of grew, I mean, we've had people from every corner of the States and Canada too. I mean, yeah, Toronto, Vancouver, that whole area has represented. LA, Miami, New York, Detroit, Chicago, Texas. I mean, name it. We've had them out. It's a rotating cast of 40 rappers mainly representing our talent, and then we kind of have outsiders that come in to test them. And these happen regularly in Minneapolis, Chicago, St. Louis, and Wisconsin sometimes, and definitely St. Louis. So those are like our divisions, much like sports. So it's North, St. Louis, and then Chicago, and then kind of here and kind of Wisconsin.
Right.
Yeah.
So you say it outgrew Columbia. Probably, what it sounds like is that the people here didn't really appreciate what it was and weren't willing to like pay to.
Well, the crowds were great. I guess they're expanding the airport, so that might help. I mean, a big part of it was
driving them from St. Louis.
It literally turned into us basically not sleeping and we had this like staff, what are these volunteers basically, and they're like staying up all night partying, and then you drive to Kansas City with these 2 guys, and then you come back, and then this person leaves, and it just was so crazy logistically that it was like, why don't we do this in a place that has an airport?
That makes sense.
And we've sold out every show in Chicago. We've sold out like 3 or 4 shows in a row in Chicago, and we get hundreds up at in Minneapolis, and they're paying $25 at the door, and so it's like
pre-sales.
And pre-sales, and so it just doesn't make any sense to lose a bunch of money, drive all night, and it's a great time. I mean, but Columbia, let me just say this because I definitely don't want to trash Columbia because I still live here for a reason. But the thing is, we set the tone. So for the first, 3 years when it was just existing here, a lot of leagues were just taking themselves very seriously. Like, we're businessmen, and you come in, they're like, oh, I'm the CEO of this company, and just like some crap. And we were like, hi, how's it going? I'm Kelly, that's Tim. Like,
we're here to battle.
You want beer? You want beer and pizza? That's what we're doing.
Exactly.
And our events actually had girls at them. And like people of different sorts. And I think just speaking in a technical way, what I've realized now is a lot of them, it was a high stakes situation because they were spending more money than us and the other leagues, that is, and they were doing their events during the day, and we were doing our events at night and then throwing parties afterwards, and we'd all hang out, and they weren't doing that anywhere. And so it kind of created this vibe of like, oh, you got it. I know they're small, but you got to go to No Coast. Like, you got to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
They got weirdos there.
We're known for our No Coast hospitality.
Yeah.
We're like,
For real.
we're like
Hospitality.
the friendliest league.
That was that second track, Sex, Love, and LSD by the Body Snatchers, who we still have in the studio, at least for a short while longer. It is 1:54 in the a.m. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming out. Kelly Betts, Tim Burgess, The Bone Man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on here.
Hey, it's not a problem.
It's
Thanks,
been
guys.
great. Yep, I'm glad this worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been perfect.
All right, y'all. The Broken Clock will continue here in just a moment. Thank you so much, guys, yet again. Stay tuned.
Blah.